All right, apologies for that sound not playing. Let's move on to the next story. The list of names of NPA boss will be recommended to President Cyril Ramaphosa following interviews. 6 people were interviewed for the job this week ahead of current NPA head advocate Shamila Batoy's end of term next month. One of the candidates interviewed is advocate Mandy Wiener, who was sacked from the position in 2012 after the Constitutional Court found his appointment by former President Jacob Zuma was invalid. Khomotso Modise has more on the story. All right, we seem to have a problem with our sound. The Pretoria High Court has sentenced a man to 3 life sentences for raping his nieces. The 47-year-old from Mamelodi was arrested in 2022 after sexually assaulting the young girls aged between 6 and 9. Sandparks is urging the public to steer clear of the Camps Bay hiking trails following a house break-in in the area. Rangers and security agents are searching the area for 3 armed suspects. Spokesperson JP Lowe has advised hikers to avoid the area until further notice. And Hong Kong pro-democracy media tycoon Jimmy Lai will receive the verdict in his national security on Monday. Lai, who turned 78 this week, is charged with foreign collusion under Hong Kong's national security law. Beijing imposed the law following huge and sometimes violent pro-democracy protests in 2019. Lai's been behind bars since late 2020, reportedly in solitary confinement, with Western nations and rights groups calling for his release. A look at the indicators. Gold is trading at $4,287.79 an ounce. The rand's at 16.83 to the dollar, 22.53 to the pound, 19.75 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $61.55 a barrel.
In Johannesburg, on the N1 South, there's a stationary vehicle at Rigel Drive, and there's roadworks on the N1 North after 14th Avenue, and one lane is closed. And in Cape Town, on Prince George Drive South at Hyde Road, there's been an accident and traffic's backed up to Ottery Road.
A partly cloudy Friday in Gauteng with afternoon showers and thunder showers. Temperatures peaking between 25 and 27. 60% chance of light rain in Cape Town, a northwesterly wind and a low of 18, reaching a high of 21. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. The Public Works Department is starting from scratch to reinforce a dome tent meant to serve as a National Assembly chamber.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Mandy Wiener on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. On the show today, a blow for the NPA as the High Court denies leave to appeal the Omatoso ruling. Shamila Batoy facing the heat at the Nkabinde inquiry. The Tuani ANC conference finally starts. The Deputy Minister of Transport on road safety during the festive season. And it's Friday, so sports and good things too. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. Good to be with you today. How's that lead story? 4 years on from that fire. I still never understand how it has taken 4 years to fix the National Assembly. I know that it's intricate and I know that a lot of work goes into it. There was extensive water damage. Now the dome is starting to have problems as well. I just think it's crazy that it's taking so long. And we know it's not necessarily Public Works' responsibility. It's a whole story. I just think it's crazy that the whole thing takes so long. This is the seat of not the seat of government, but it's where our parliamentarians sit. And it is where laws are decided in this country. So, of course, State of the Nation again will take place at City Hall, I imagine. So all of that's still going on. A big story out of Gqeberha today. The Gqeberha High Court denying the state leave to appeal the ruling that acquitted the pastor, Timothy Omatoso, and his co-accused on rape charges. This has been a real blight for the NPA. So yet another blow. In fact, this was an issue that came up in Andrea Johnson's interview for National Director of Public Prosecutions about what went into it, how damaging it was for the NPA. So today, the High Court delivering its ruling on that bid to challenge the outcome. And really concerning because this case was so badly managed. One of the defense lawyers had argued that the NPA's application was based on a fundamental misunderstanding of the verdict and what constitutes a factual finding in law. So the judge finding the state had failed to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt, deemed many of the key witnesses unreliable. So another blow for the NPA. We're hoping to speak to the NPA spokesperson about this. They have acknowledged that it was just an absolute train wreck, and they launched their own investigation into it as well. Mtunzi Maga, who's the spokesperson, has just sent me the spokesperson's details in the Eastern Cape. So hopefully we'll get somebody to speak to about that. But while that's all happening and the NPA under fire there, Shamila Batoy, the National Director of Public Prosecutions, is under cross-examination still at the Nkabinde inquiry. Just a reminder, the Nkabinde inquiry is the inquiry into Joburg prosecutor or director of prosecutions in Joburg, Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office. So let's find out what's happening there with Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter. Khomotso, good afternoon to you. Thanks for your time. Some serious heat coming for Shamila Batoy there.
That's right, Mandy. At the Nkabinde inquiry today, Shamila Batoy back on the witness stand, as you say. And this morning, we saw Nkabinde's lawyers, Advocate Tembeka Ngugay-Toby and his team, presenting instances of what they believe show intimidation and wrongdoing on the part of Major General Johan Boyson and his Cattle Manor team. You remember that last week, Shamila Batoy testified that she made the decision to withdraw the racketeering charges against Boyson because she believed that there was no proof of any wrongdoing on his part. But she also said she made that decision without having read the docket, Mandy. And of course, the commission or the inquiry was very surprised by that. And she was really questioned a lot on that, on how she could come to such a decision without having familiarized herself with the docket. Today, the lawyers for Chauke have presented pieces of evidence that they say show wrongdoing on the part of Boyson. They also claim, Mandy, that it's clear that Batoy and her prosecutors turned a blind eye from a clear cases of intimidation, wrongdoing, as well as murder by Boyson and the Cattle Manor team.
How is Shamila Batoy managing that questioning? What's her demeanor been like?
Well, Mandy, it's been so interesting to see over the last 2 to 3 days or so, the inquiry, particularly the chair, Justice Beson Nkabinde, really reprimanding her quite a bit on her behavior, where she'll chip in from time to time and answer or respond, hit back at Ngugay-Toby before he finishes a question, or even when he hasn't posed a question but he's still reading. She's been reprimanded quite a bit, with them saying, just wait to be asked your question. Just stop a bit and just afford counsel the respect and decorum that you would in a court of law. So I do think that it's been a really difficult couple of days. She has been on the stand, Mandy, for about 15 days now from the time that she started her testimony. And I don't think it was intended for her to be on the stand for so long. And at this stage, we don't know how much longer she'll be testifying at this inquiry.
Of course, that as her term ticks down to an end. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter, thank you very much for that. Shamila Batoy spending multiple days on the stand there at Andrew Chauke's inquiry into the fitness to hold office, all while interviews continue. Yesterday, they were finalized into a new National Director of Public Prosecutions.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
As I said at the start of the show, a big blow to the NPA because the High Court in Gqeberha has denied the state leave to appeal the ruling, acquitting Timothy Omatoso and his co-accused on rape charges. Luxolo Tliali is the Eastern Cape NPA spokesperson and joins us now. Luxolo, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time today. What is your reaction to this court ruling?
Of course, we are not happy with it. But we did expect that the judge would not be easily swayed into reconsidering her own decision, which is why now we are considering petitioning the Supreme Court of Appeals, which we believe will be able to judge in our favor.
What were the grounds given by the judge in this matter?
She just dismissed our application based on the fact that she believes that the cross-examination of the accused was not sufficient, which is something that, we believe is subjective on her side.
But there has been acknowledgement from the NPA that this was a case that was mismanaged.
I don't think there was an admission on our side.
There was an admission that an investigation was required and that there was clearly a problem in light of the judgment.
What happened is the reason why we're appealing is that there was a question that was raised with regard to the conduct of a prosecutor that was since removed from the case. And there was no evidence that points to the fact that he really did what he was accused of having done. So that is the only problem that we, as the NPA, took a decision to remove that prosecutor from that case and put in a new team. In terms of the evidence that was presented, the witnesses that we led, and the arguments that we did put forward, we don't falter any prosecutor.
Is it the view of the NPA that another judge or another court will make a different decision in this matter?
That is the reason why we are considering petitioning the Supreme Court of Appeals, that we think we'll be able to take a different decision.
Okay. Have you taken that decision to petition, or is it still under consideration?
We will have to sit down, look at the judgment. Remember, it was just delivered about 30 minutes ago. And then we will take that a decision. Once we've taken a decision, we'll communicate that and prosecute it.
Is there a view, and this might be difficult for you to answer, Luxolo, is there a view that this case has been damaging to the NPA in the Eastern Cape?
Well, we do not believe so, because the same prosecutors that she was skating against are the prosecutors that we are using every day and securing life sentences in far more complicated cases. So it would be the view of someone who listened at the one judge who made that finding. But on our side, we believe that we are still fit and proper to go ahead with the same team.
Luxolo, thank you very much. Luxolo Tiali, Eastern Cape NPA spokesperson, speaking to us there. So it does seem as though the NPA now will take a decision on whether or not it does petition the Supreme Court of Appeal in the Omatoso case. Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Last December, you put in new floors. Come New Year's, your visitors were out the door. And the new floor went from fresh tiles to don't step on a crack or you'll break umama's back. Now, abantu bazothini when they see the kids playing the Squid Game's hopscotch on those same cracked tiles from last year. Avoid the embarrassment this festive. Make smarter decisions for your home. Visit Cash Build for quality tiles, adhesive and tools at the lowest prices. Cash Build.
Listen up, corporates. Wrap up your tax year on a meaningful note by donating to DKMS. Your support assists in fighting life-threatening blood cancers by enabling DKMS to recruit more potential donors, as well as raising patients' chances of finding a match. And there's an added advantage. Enjoy the benefits of a Section 18A tax certificate, which grants your company a well-deserved rebate. Be a force for good this tax season by giving those in need a new lease on life. Email fundraising at dkms-africa.org to donate today.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a businesswoman on the way to the airport after sleeping through her alarm. Bags in the back, boarding pass on the dashboard. She prays she'll make her flight.
Hope I make it.
The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's the potential closing of a big deal. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener
Winner of the Best News and Actuality Show
at the Telkom Radio Awards.
12:16 on the Midday Report with me, Mandy Wiener, on 702 and Cape Talk. Well, I think a lot of people, for many people, today is their last day at work, so we can expect the great migration to the coast and the festive season road safety campaign being launched as well. Always a massive concern at this time of year, road safety deaths, what's happening with the high volumes on South Africa's roads. The Deputy Minister of Transport, Mkhuleko Hlengwa, joining us now. Deputy Minister, good afternoon to you and thank you very much for your time.
An absolute pleasure, man. Good afternoon to you and the listeners.
How will this year be different to any other year where the road accident numbers that come in are just alarming and we just never seem to be able to get a handle on it?
We've got a multidisciplinary coordinated operation throughout the country that we have been working on throughout the year. Since assuming office with Minister Creasy, this has been a priority focus area for us, and we are beginning to see that operation turn things around for us on our roads. We have registered a decline in fatal crashes and fatalities here, but of course it's still early days. We go into this festive season having put together a very strong operation. We've identified the top 20 priority routes that need our heightened attention, and also effective from today, the National Traffic Police, under the auspices of the department and the Road Traffic Management Corporation, we will be deploying 800 of them throughout the country to give support to municipal and provincial traffic law enforcement up until the mid of January. And secondly, we have been in engagement with the Minister of Public Service and Administration, Minister Creasy has managed to secure an exemption for traffic law enforcement over time during this period, which means we will have 24/7 visible policing and operations throughout the country, because we can now pay overtime, which was necessary because weekends in particular remain our most challenging periods, and the night travel. Lastly is to say we have got a traffic national joint operation with municipalities and provinces, and Minister and myself are chairing weekly meetings with provinces on Tuesdays and Thursdays to make sure that we can pool and share resources and be able to shift resources when necessary, identify problems immediately, and shift to secondary routes as and when the challenges arise. We are working throughout the festive season with the departments and the provinces to make sure that we roll out a program. Just on a lighter note, as I was speaking to Minister this morning, as she was traveling to Limpopo and I was en route to Moy River, she was saying to me, "DM, it seems as if this is our second festive season where we're going to be working," and that is just the reality of what the transport space requires. Lastly, Mandy, what I would really want to emphasize is that all the efforts that we will be putting in as government and with our entities are half the equation. The other side is the responsibility which must be borne by road users and drivers in particular to please assist us do the right thing. So let's not drink and drive. Let's not drink and jaywalk. For example, 48% of our fatalities are pedestrians. So let's do the right things. Cross where we're supposed to cross, wear visible clothing. We are encouraging that let us rest every 2 hours or every 200 kilometers, particularly because it's festive season, people are traveling long distances. Driver fatigue is a major contributor to the fatalities. Then I want to reiterate something which we have picked up as a major, major challenge, and that is cell phone usage by drivers and passengers in the passenger seat for the purposes of which they are taking content for social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, and so on, Instagram. It is a major problem. The drivers are being distracted and they are not able to respond in real time to the ecosystem. And then as a parent, let us please, I'm speaking to parents now, let's strap our children in. Just at this operation in Moy River, every car was stopped with children. Children are not buckled up. Children are not in car seats. And the long-term trauma children are suffering due to road crashes is fast becoming one of the major areas which we need to look at. And so there is a personal responsibility that must be borne by road users whilst we roll out the operations. And we believe the collaboration is exactly what is needed in order for us to push back on the frontiers of the road fatalities and road crashes.
I know that what you're saying, of course, is very, very serious, but it does sound like we are applicants for the Darwin Awards because people are such idiots when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, it should be obvious. Do not shoot a TikTok video while you are driving on a busy highway. Please strap your children in. It is irresponsible not to strap your children in. It really is a worry. Do you worry, Deputy Minister, that we've almost normalized this culture of not abiding by the laws, of drinking and driving, of jaywalking?
No, we are worried because in total, 87% of all fatalities can be traced back to driver misbehavior and non-adherence to the basic rules of the road and the regulations. So there is a systemic culture of non-compliance and a lack of due regard for the rules. That is why we have adopted this approach where we are consistently and constantly present on the roads. So it's no longer just festive season operations or Easter weekend operations. We have an operation which says when we meet, we are looking at where traffic is going to be, where people are traveling. We're tracking your major games, for example, for whatever sporting code, looking at political party operations where they will be taking and rallies and campaigns. So there is a targeted focus on our part to be able to entrench traffic law as part of a new normal. Again, because of the very fact that the attitude is wholly wrong. What we want to plead for as part of helping is patience on the part of everybody on the road and patience with traffic law enforcement as and when they conduct operations. People have got a tendency of leaving late at home, wherever they are, with the hope of making up time on the road. And that leads, amongst others, to the reckless and irresponsible driving that we see. The last element I would like to add is that obviously, because this season has got heightened levels of public transport commute, we are focusing on taxis and on buses. Way bridges and way in motion will be a focus area, and we appreciate the manner in which the taxi industry is cooperating with us and running their own campaigns for road safety and the bus industry as well. And so what we're trying to come into traffic law enforcement is a culture of collaboration and cooperation, so we can push back on the kind of the assessment that you are making, that it's just idiotic. Sometimes it's in plain sight, but people choose not to comply.
Deputy Minister, thank you so much. Deputy Minister Mkhuleko Hlengwa, the Deputy Minister of Transport. Let's not be candidates for the Darwin Awards this festive season. Of course, the transport authorities have got responsibilities as well, and there are too many trucks on the road. There are issues with the conditions of the road, but also just let's not be stupid ourselves.
702.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Let's walk the talk.
The Border Management Authority has intercepted 30 suspected trafficking victims at OR Tambo International Airport. Jane Tupana is the Acting Commissioner of the Border Management Authority. Jane, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time. What are trafficking victims?
Mandy, good afternoon and good afternoon to your listeners. As you had read the statement, whenever we talk about trafficking as a BMA, we would say suspicious trafficking because we work together with the other law enforcement structures. We work together with the broader intelligence community in this regard. So we focus on irregular or illegal migration, and as we do that, we sometimes come across the victims of human trafficking, but you would not determine with certainty whether this was indeed a human trafficking or not, except that we have to hand over to the relevant authorities. As you know, we work together with SAPS, we work together with Interpol, who are working on this particular matter, together with the local and international NGOs that are focusing on the transnational organized crime that involve largely human trafficking. So even in this case, we have not determined with any certainty that this is human trafficking. We do our part on the immigration side. We would interview and prepare to deport people. We would link them to the other structures who are also doing their own interviews and investigations, and would determine whether indeed this was human trafficking or not.
And what do we know about these 30 people? Where have they come from? What are their nationalities?
Nationals, which is a group of 5 males and 9 females. Already, when you see a majority being women, these are some of the trends that are worrying. That is the first group. Those are Ethiopian nationals. The second group of 16 is a group of Bangladeshi males, all male. That were intercepted in this operation yesterday by our officials.
We did speak with the BMA Commissioner earlier in the week about tightening controls, accountability, people being warned that you are tightening measures in the festive season. How are the operations going so far?
The operations are going very well, and as you have said from what the Commissioner pronounced on our plans for the festive, on how we're going to enhance our capacity to make sure that we are able to execute the mandate, but also largely to be able to match the kind of heightened movement that is happening across the country. As you would have seen from what happened yesterday, it is really out of mainly our sharpened risk targeting capabilities, our close coordination with other intelligence structures, as well as the vigilance of our officials on the ground, who are well trained to be able to be alert when they are on duty, to depict some of these movements that ordinarily you may not find them suspicious, but because they are trained and they have been educated on the trends and patterns, they are able to pick this up.
Do syndicates take advantage of busier airports, busier borders during the festive season to move humans?
Absolutely, they do. I mean, they would always take chances. It's easier when movement is very high to try to take chances, because ordinarily criminals will think that we can blend easily with the larger movements that are happening, unlike during quieter times. So it is indeed during busier times where you see this kind of things happening, and that is why we also make sure that our teams are up to the task and more vigilant during this time.
Jane Tupana, Acting Border Management Authority Commissioner, thank you very much for your time today, speaking to us about those 30 suspected trafficking victims being intercepted at OR Tambo International Airport. 12:30, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. The Public Works Department is starting from scratch to reinforce a dome tent meant to serve as a National Assembly chamber. The process will happen while Parliament is being rebuilt after a New Year's fire almost 4 years ago. In October, EWN reported that skins of the tent had started to rip open, exposing the interior after the Cape winds battered the structure on a parking lot across from the parliamentary precinct. The 12th elective conference for the ANC's Greater Tuani region will kick off today following a failed last-minute bid to interdict it. The conference was initially set down for last month. However, it was postponed by the provincial leadership after some members complained about irregularities regarding the nomination process at branch level. And the city of Joburg is urging residents to be extra vigilant during the festive season as crime typically rises this time of year. The Johannesburg Central Police Station usually records a surge in incidents over the Christmas period, particularly contact crimes, and to ensure public safety, the Metro Police Department has deployed additional personnel this holiday season. Those are the headlines, this Eyewitness News and more at 1 o'clock or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
A very good afternoon. I'm Tato Moloto. Bafana at High Performance Center in Pretoria preparing for their friendly against Ghana next week. This before they head off to Morocco for their opening game with Angola in the African Cup of Nations. All this happening while coach Hugo Brosh seems to have gotten himself into a bit of hot water with political party UDM, who have reported him to the Human Rights Commission for alleged racist comments made around Mbegezeli Mbogazi. But according to assistant coach Helman Mkalele, this matter has been resolved already.
I won't go to the actual each and every point, but I would say that issue has been resolved because it is important for us to make sure that we resolve issues like that in order to make sure again that we continue with our preparations. So the issue of Mbogazi has been settled.
For Minister of Sports, Gayton McKenzie, he says he'll wait for SAFA and the coach himself to respond before speaking on these allegations. Then in Durban tomorrow, newly crowned knockout champions Orlando Pirates go head-to-head with the All-Star team. This in the Carling Cup match at the Moses Mabhida Stadium, set to kick off at 3. While the Premier League has 4 encounters tomorrow, Arsenal, Chelsea, Fulham and Liverpool all in action. Big question for Liverpool though is, will Mo Salah be part of Arne Slot's starting 11? Well, time will tell. In cricket, the Proteas are leveled 1-1 in their T20I series with India after they won their second match by 51 runs. Quinton de Kock continued his sensational form since reversing his retirement, smashing 90 for South Africa to post 213 for 4. And tell you what, the man sounds hungry for more.
Now, coming back, this is actually what I missed. You never know what you have until you've lost it. That's kind of now coming back, where that renewed energy where I can play, where I feel I can play much longer than as what I thought as previously.
For the Proteas women, they travel to East London to open their ODI series against Ireland women tomorrow, this after their 2-0 whitewash series. In rugby, Sasha Feinberg Mgomozulu goes into the Stormers Champions Cup against La Rochelle tomorrow with a bit of a pep in his step. Mgomozulu was named SA Players Player of the Year, and here's what he told Rugby 365.
They understand what we try to do and how much work it takes to try up your game and push it, and to get recognition from them means everything. They're the guys we respect the most, and yeah, like I said, the guys that understand what goes into it. So to get their approval and pat on the back from them is everything.
More Champions Cup games see Sharks host Sarah Saints, while on Sunday it is Pretoria side Bulls who are away to Saints. In the Challenge Cup, Lions are away to Newcastle Falcons and Cheetahs host Stade Francis. Tato Moloto, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Having a look at your traffic in Johannesburg on the N3 North, there is a stationary vehicle before Van Buren Road. And on Modderdam Road, there's also a stationary vehicle, and that's on the ramp to the N3 North. There's roadworks on the N1 North just after 14th Avenue with the left lane closed. And if you're on the N1 South, there's roadworks at New Road and the right lane is closed in that area. Moving to Cape Town in Parkwood on Prince George Drive South and Hyde Road, there's an accident that's backing up traffic to Ottery Road. And on the N1 incoming, there's a vehicle broken down. It's in the right lane at the N7. More Eyewitness News traffic at 1 p.m.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
At Auto & General, we understand your business is built on more than just vehicles. It's your stock, tools and equipment, and the premises where you work. Auto & General Business Insurance is designed for businesses like yours, protecting your assets against fire, theft, storms, and other unexpected events. To protect your livelihood, visit autogen.co.za and get an obligation-free business insurance quote. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
At Checkers, we do more so you get extra this Christmas. With festive savings like Speco long grain parboiled rice 2 kgs, 2 for 55 Rand. And House Brand 2-ply white toilet rolls 24-pack for 129 Rand. Plus, stand a chance to win your share of 7 million Rand in prizes. Simply buy any 3 qualifying products and swipe your extra savings card to enter. Valid until Sunday, only at Checkers Hyper. T&Cs apply.
Cell C is now proudly listed on the JSE. You can say we put the C in JSE, the pinnacle of a 24-year game-changing history, giving South Africans affordable, reliable connectivity. We've adapted and perfected the ABCs, now ranked number 1 in SA for video experience on 4G and joint number 1 for network reliability.
Really?
C. Now nothing should stop you from being a part of the C. Speak to your broker. Cell C.
Some moments only come around once, like the Audi year-end sale. Get the Audi A1 from 6,999 per month with no deposit, a 90-day payment break, so you only start paying next year. Plus, a guaranteed buyback. There's limited time to show up, but unlimited time to stand out in the Audi A1. Visit audi.co.za or your nearest Audi dealer before the 24th of December. T's and C's apply.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, Mandy. This is Kabelo from Pretoria. I think the competence of Advocate Shamila Batoy was misjudged because it was based on her performance during that cricket Hansi inquest or commission, because there it was mostly about confessions and there wasn't much about investigation. So her competence was elevated and then she didn't come up to be what we thought she was.
No, I think I disagree with you there. Don't forget, after the Hansi Cronje inquiry, she went to the Hague. She has a long track record. She has done more than just that one case. She has a long track record of international corruption cases, and she was at the international criminal. Where was she? She was at the ICC, I think. But she has an international record as well. So I think it's more than just that. I remember sitting through the interview that Shamila Batoy did, and she spoke about that and why she felt that she needed to come back to South Africa to share that experience and to work at the NPA. And that's really why. I mean, I wonder if this process of appointing an NDPP is as efficient as it could be. It's a 2-3 hour interview by this panel that is appointed by the president. It should be much more rigorous, considering how important this position is. In fact, I wrote a column today, you can go read it on EWN or on Prime Media Plus, saying that we are effectively looking for a superhero with a spine of steel, because this person that is going to be the NDPP needs to maneuver around this political environment. They need to be a good ethical person. They need to have an incisive legal mind. They need to be able to withstand pressure. We are looking for somebody who is not human to run the NPA.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
The ANC's Greater Tuani conference is finally getting underway today. Remember, it collapsed a couple of weeks ago. There were issues, there were disputes, there were allegations of branch manipulation, membership irregularities. So it all collapsed, and now it seems it's getting together and it's happening. Tabiso Goba, EWN reporter. Tabiso, just remind us what happened here with the ANC in Tuani.
Good afternoon, Mandy. As you said, Mandy, this is a conference that has been in the works for a number of times. It was actually supposed to take place next month. A venue had been booked. There had been, logistics put in place, banners and all kinds of stuff. And there was an interdict that was put by a group of ANC members here in the Tuani region. But those ANC members also wrote to the Secretary General and the ANC in Gauteng complaining around those irregularities, saying, the branch nominations processes had been rigged, and even the branches, the composition of those branches that are going to be making up the voting delegates here had not been proper. So what the ANC in Gauteng decided to postpone that conference last month, and said, please sort out those disputes until obviously everyone is happy, and then we can go ahead with the conference. Now, the conference is set to start today, but we do know that there was another last-minute interdict that took place yesterday. However, that interdict was dismissed. We just had a conversation now with the current or the outgoing ANC Secretary Regional Chairperson, that's George Majila, and he said what he's got so far is that those disputes have been resolved, and now they're obviously going to go ahead and pick that new leadership. You'll understand that, Mandy, out of the 3 Gauteng metros here in Gauteng, Ekurhuleni has had its regional conference. Johannesburg recently had its regional conference. So Tuani was sort of the last region, or the last big region that was due to have a regional conference.
We know, of course, that Tuani has an Action SA mayor at the moment as a result of a coalition government. How will the outcome of this ANC conference have any kind of impact on governance within the Tuani Metro?
Yes, I think it's going to make up a huge, because this conference is going to be over 3 days. So just above also electing leaders, they are also going to be talking around election preparedness, but also be talking around the current coalition government, which they have with Action SA, with the EFF and those other smaller parties. And I do remember, Mandy, that at the time when we reported, when Nosipho Moya, the Action SA mayor, was actually appointed, the ANC here in Tuani, they actually went to the provincial ANC and the national ANC, which is responsible for appointing mayors at metro municipalities. And they put up their own candidates and said that we're the biggest party here in Tuani. We can't have the mayorship go up to another party. However, they were overruled by those bigger structures in the ANC. And it will be interesting, Mandy, that with a year to go, will they carry on being happy with this agreement where the ANC sort of plays second fiddle to Action SA? And that's going to be making up part of the talks here over the next 3 days as the ANC Tuani region gears up for those local government elections.
Tabiso, thank you very much. Tabiso Goba, EWN reporter at the ANC's Greater Tuani Conference.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener,
winner of the Best News and Actuality Show
at the Telkom Radio Awards.
So, as many of you prepare to go on holiday and we wind down to the festive season, remember there are many, many people out there who are dealing with the crises of life, of the economy, of poverty, of hunger. Daily Maverick and SA Harvest have launched their 3rd annual festive season campaign to combat hunger in the Eastern Cape. This year, the focus is on supporting 3 holiday programs that are crucial for keeping children safe and fed. And you can get involved too. Estelle Ellis is a senior journalist at Daily Maverick who joins us now. Estelle, thank you so much for your time. Tell us about this festive season campaign.
Good afternoon, Mandy. So with Daily Maverick, we have a partnership with the SA Harvest. This is our 3rd year. We feel quite strongly at Daily Maverick that we don't just want to write about hunger and people struggling. We also feel quite driven to do something. And we know, you almost feel guilty to go off and have a nice festive season while there are so many people that are struggling. And as a personal, my heart is for children. And we've had a really tough year in Nelson Mandela Bay. We had a lot of children who were murdered, who were during school holidays, when there are kids that are out and about because they are looking for food. And we were hoping to play a role this year to prevent any further possible violence, but also provide a safe place for children where they can be fed and they can be entertained or educated in a safe space until their parents come back from work.
Much of what you're doing with SA Harvest is around buckets of nutrition. Tell us about those.
So we are distributing buckets, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who's already donated this morning. It's making my heart very happy. So we have a bucket that is filled with food, and our bucket it's bigger this year than last year. It can be sponsored for around 1,000 rand. It's a big 20-liter bucket, which a lot of households in our communities can also use. And then it's filled with nutritious food, amongst things 10 kilograms of maize, tinned food, soup. We have added a few festive treats to 2 packets of sweets and packets of cookies for the children. And then we've added a few dignity items like jig, a laundry bar to wash the clothes, and little things like that to ensure that families can have a festive season without having to worry too much about where their next meal will come from.
Estelle, thank you so much to you, to the team at Daily Maverick, and also, of course, to SA Harvest for driving this initiative. Estelle Ellis, a senior journalist at Daily Maverick, speaking to us there about their 3rd annual festive season campaign to combat hunger in the Eastern Cape.
Mzansi, walala wasala. Panda Pusha play Powerball for the massive 83 million rand guaranteed jackpot this Friday and step closer to a world of endless possibilities. Get your lucky numbers ready and play Powerball for the guaranteed 83 million rand jackpot today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda Pusha play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
Sure, your phone's from there. Your kids' toys? Definitely. But your SUV? No thanks. The Mini Countryman from 9,899 Rand per month with Mini Select Finance. Visit mini.co.za to book your test drive. Select offer only available from Mini Financial Services, a division of BMW Financial Services South Africa Pty Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Offer exclusively applies to the Mini Countryman. Initiation and service fee apply. Offer linked to the current prime rate. Calculated on a 10% deposit, 48 monthly installments, final GFV payment, and 80,000 kilometer contract limit. Changes to the deal and optional extras will impact finance offer. Offer valid until 31 December. Subject to stock availability. T's and C's apply. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like the lady on her way to work, listening to a love song on the radio. She's recreating the music video in her mind with herself as the leading lady. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a concert on the move. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Sports Wrap on 702 and Cape Talk.
Tolkien is out, but Tato Malota is in. Welcome to the Midday Report.
It's always good to be here, Mandy. Thanks for having me.
We're in that weird kind of space where there's not a lot of sport happening because we're building up to AFCON, but there's PSL and rugby this weekend.
There is PSL and a bit of rugby this weekend. In fact, for Orlando Pirates, by the way, well done, Mandy. Orlando Pirates on the Carling Knockout Cup. They are up against the All-Star team in Durban today in the Carling match that they are going to play this weekend. So it's one of the few matches as far as the Betway Premiership is concerned. Premier League, we have Arsenal, Chelsea are in the mix, Fulham as well. Liverpool, I spoke about them earlier on. We are waiting in anticipation, my friend, whether Mo Salah will make it to that starting 11. But you know what, Mandy?
You know what my favorite thing is? He keeps posting pictures of himself in the gym. Every day there's a different picture of himself alone in the gym.
Look, there's interest in Saudi Arabia for him, but also Saudi are done throwing money at players. So I think the only reason why Salah would have gone to a Saudi Arabian league would be because of the money. I don't think he's going to get the money that he wants. So we don't know what's going to happen with him at Liverpool, hey? But it's tricky times for The Reds.
Yeah, it is indeed. Sure, Keith, I'd love to hear your opinion on Mo Salah, because we know you always have opinions on this. So let us know what you think. The Proteas, both the men and the women, have been outstanding.
Absolutely. The men last night put themselves together. It's almost like they were reprimanded by a parent there, coming out of that series with leveling it all 1-1 as far as India are concerned. They've had a tough first test with them, but Quinton de Kock, so special as a cricketer. 90 off of 46 balls. It was absolutely spectacular to just witness him there. And it's almost proven that just because he said he's on retirement, doesn't mean he's retired from scoring, But they are back in action again on Sunday, the Proteas men. For the ladies, it was a 2-0 whitewash series win against the Island women. Of course, they were in Benoni on Wednesday. That didn't happen. The weather decided to take control of it for us and say, you know what, I'm going to give it to you. But also the Proteas ladies, really what a spectacular job that they did here. Sure, the last test might have rained out, but they had already done the damage. I mean, 200 in total as far as scoring is concerned for both those tests against the Island women. They are back again tomorrow, but this time for a one-day international.
Sasha Feinberg Mgomezulu is the Springboks Player of the Year.
Generational talent, this one, Mandy. Look, what a superstar. Only 24, 25. There he is. I mean, he's going to walk into this game with a massive pep on his step right there. So the Stormers are in action tomorrow against La Rochelle. And I think what's special with this award, Mandy, is the fact that this was voted for by his peers. And his peers said, you deserve this. And ever so often you come across players that are great and that are special, but not so often do you come against a player that has flair. And Sasha has rugby flair.
Generational talent. I love that. Tato, thank you so much. Tato Moloto, EWN sports reporter.
Good things.
Good things.
With Brent Lindeke.
And what a treat for us. Brent Lindeke, the Good Things Guy in studio today. The Good Things Guy with Brent Lindeke is brought to you by Bonitas, medical aid for South Africa. Hi, Brent.
Hi, what's happening? I'm in studio. I love being in studio. I always say when I get an opportunity, when my diary allows us, that there's always a vibe at Prime Media and in the 702 studios, and it's so lekker Cape Talk as well to be here.
Thank you so much. It's always lekker to have you. You bring the vibe. You brought me a book, Brent's third book, Only Good Things. I was at the launch at Monte Casino last night.
Yeah.
And I love this. It's a coffee table book that has 100 feel-good South African stories in it. So lekker.
Yeah, it's needed, right? So you were saying earlier on, it's tough. The festive season's tough. It's tough in South Africa. So to be able to celebrate the good news stories every single day and to have something tangible that we can bring out that people can put on their coffee tables is just so lekker.
It's so lekker. But just remind everyone that it's not gloom and doom, and there are pockets of excellence and there is amazingness.
Well, we know this, and I think we're speaking to the converted because our listeners know that as well. We're here every Friday. We end the show off with good news. We know that there's good news all around us. Sometimes we may need a reminder, but it definitely is everywhere. Good news is everywhere.
So you've got some good news stories for us. Tell us about the musician who tuned out the doubters and just composed her PhD.
So I really love this. Her name's Myrna Nichols, and she grew up in the Cape Flats. She had a single dad that brought her up, who absolutely loved her, and he made her believe that she could do anything and be anything. But in her post, which is being shared rapidly across social media, she said that in primary school, her music teachers told her that she would never make it in the industry of music. They deliberately kept opportunities away from her to ensure that she didn't progress. And so she made herself a promise, and she said that she would get a PhD in music by the time she was 40. And she's done that before reaching 40 years old, and she dedicated it to her dad. She's classically trained in jazz, so she's really good in jazz. And as a music teacher, she spreads that love and joy to all her students. And she's planning on releasing her own album really soon. So just all the good things wrapped up in one story.
Amazing. What a beautiful, beautiful story. Tato was speaking about generational talents in rugby. Another generational talent, Joel Stransky, pedaling from Durban to the Desert Dash so kids in need can see.
This is crazy. So you and I love cycling. We try to get out as much as we can. Now,
I like to fall a lot.
Well, I wasn't going to bring that
It's
up,
okay.
man.
I can own it. I fall frequently in front of Brent, and he has to pick me up.
I pick her up, but I never laugh at the time, and I never take photos. So I think that's a good friend. But Joel Stransky and a group of his friends decided to take on a challenge, and they cycled from Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, to Swakopmund in Namibia. It's 2,500 kilometers. Imagine cycling 2,500 kilometers. It's just absolute madness. But I think that madness, it was all for a good cause, right? So it's for his charity, which I think he founded it in 2013. I don't want to get that wrong, but it's called Lumo Hawk Foundation, and they operate mobile eye clinics around South Africa and screen children at under-resourced schools to provide prescription glasses. Imagine being a kid and not being able to see, and now because of this incredible feat of cycling so far, they've raised loads and loads of money to continue doing the good work that they do.
Maybe we should think about that next year.
So I think you and I need to do something. You laugh that you sometimes fall.
No, I fall a lot.
You don't say that. Okay. Don't say that, because you really don't. But let's plan to do something for charity.
You know, we're having an entire conversation on the radio where people will hold us accountable.
And they can, because I like to be held accountable.
Hey, you just did the Defender Challenge. Hey.
Oh my good gracious. That was 3 days of utter craziness, utter madness. So for all the listeners,
how I changed the subject?
You very quickly. So we'll quickly go into this. First of all, you are going to do something with charity really soon. Secondly, Defender Challenge. It's the new Camel Trophy, basically. It's the Defender Trophy. And I was selected out of 600 entries. 48 of us competed. And it was 3 days of putting us to the ultimate human test. It was Survivor mixed with Amazing Race. And I hardly slept. I was so muddy. I had to run and swim and drive and do crazy things.
Build bridges and things.
But what came out of that is A, that I'm more than capable, which was such a beautiful feeling, and B, the belief that the team had in me. So this team of 23 other people, we were a group of 24, these 23 other people just surrounded me and lifted me up and got me through it. And yes, I cried, but good tears. It was amazing.
Look at me, I'm so manly. Good for you. I like that. I like it. Good for you. Listen, we wouldn't have a chat about good news without an animal story.
Exactly. So I love my animal stories, and I'll always throw one in there. This week, it's all about a little pup called Brinjal, who went viral with a video. He swims every year at the Tuani mayoral. How do I say that?
Mayoral
Gala. So he does it every single year, and he's turning 13 early next year, but he still swims these laps, and it's a big highlight in every year's gala that Brinjal's going to jump into the water and swim. And in the video, you see him jumping in. You see that nothing sort of loses his focus on what he wants to do, and he gets gold almost every single year. And when I did the interview with his mom, his dog mom, human mom for the dog, she said to me that he sometimes swims 10 laps a day in preparation. Like, this little pup is just an absolute machine. And why I love this story is because he reminds us that even though swimming is competitive, as it is in a gala, it should also be about happiness and fun. And ultimately, that's what sport is about, right?
See, we can cycle, we can run, we can do a little triathlon.
Oh, anyway. No. Now we're going into the deep end. I'm not excited for that.
Brent, as people prepare to, as I say, the great migration down to the coast for many people going home, what is your advice as people go into the festive season?
I think, first of all, I hope that everybody gets to where they need to go safely. And I hope that this festive season, even if it's hard for you, I hope you feel loved. And I hope you see some kindness around you, because it is there. And I want you to remember to sometimes stop and be present in the moment, whatever that moment is, and be grateful for things around you. Because even when things are hard and tough, and festive season is tough for a lot of people, it's a time there where we can look back and at our loved ones that are maybe not here and feel alone. Find something to be grateful for, because there are still many, many things that you can be grateful for.
Oh, thank you so much for bringing us so much happiness, so much joy, all the good news stories this year.
It's such a pleasure. I am so honored to do what I do. And the only reason I continue to be able to do it is because people support and listen and read and do all those good things. So I'm very grateful in this moment for everybody listening right now, for everybody that reads my stuff and my team stuff, because they're writing as well. Just immense gratitude this festive season for everything.
Brent Lindeque, the good things guy, and get the care you need when you need it with Bonitas, the medical aid for South Africa with strong reserves and financial performance. Bonitas can afford to pay your claims and was voted the #1 medical aid in the Ask Africa Orange Index. Choose from a range of plans tailored to meet your needs. Visit bonitas.co.za and find your plan. T's and C's apply.
The Midday Report.
Thank you very much to everyone for listening. If you are driving this weekend, please be safe. I'll be with you still all the way up until Christmas. Not going anywhere yet. So I'll be here next week, Monday. And then, of course, the Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk was brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. And this Eyewitness News is brought to you by Vouch. Hassle-free insurance is possible with your Vouch advisor. Vouch SA is an authorized financial services provider. T's and C's apply.
Around a costly parliamentary tent and deep concern around road crashes this festive season. Good afternoon, I'm Wesley Peterson. The Department of Public Works is starting from scratch to reinforce a dome tent that's meant to serve as a National Assembly chamber. The process will happen while Parliament is being rebuilt after New Year's fire almost